Good morning, students. In the last online lesson, we saw basic types of sentences, and today we are going to start the transformation as I told you in the last lesson. That is, converting a sentence from one form to another form. So let us start with assertives. You know that assertives are of two types. Statements, there are two types: affirmative sentences, negative sentences. Now, what are affirmatives? Statements which are positive ones. Those are called affirmatives. For example, he has work. Then that is positive statement. And negative, when you add not to it, it becomes negative statement. Means he doesn't have any work. So affirmatives means without no, not, never, and negatives means with no, not, never. Both are statements. So today we'll see how to convert affirmatives to negatives. There are two ways of doing it. One is already known to you. We'll take a quick recap of that type, that directly by adding not. When you directly add not to verb, it is first type by changing the meaning. You change the meaning of that sentence, because there is a great difference between positive statement and negative statement. Suppose if I say I work, it has got positive meaning, but once I add not to it, I don't work, meaning becomes completely opposite. So this is the first type of changing affirmatives to negatives by changing the meaning. In this you simply have to do add not. But there are again two ways. If there is helping verb in the sentence, helping verbs already we have studied: is, am, are, was, were, have, has, can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, then you have to simply attach not to that helping verb and take the rest of the sentence or remaining part of the sentence as it is. And if there is no helping verb in the sentence, then our basic rule we have to use do for V1 form of the verb, does for V1 plus S or ES form of the verb, and did for V2 form of the verb. But only precaution that we have to take here is, once we use do, does, did, we have to use the main verb in which form? V1 form. So let us see the examples. See here, I was present. Now there is a helping verb was. So as per the first rule, we have to simply attach not. I was not present. She is coming. Again there is helping verb present is. So we have to simply attach not to it. She is not coming. Now in the third and fourth sentences, she works hard. Now there is no helping verb here. So we have to use do, does or did. Now look at the verb. Works is a verb and S is attached. So she doesn't, because S is attached, we have to take does for V1 plus S or ES form, and we have to attach not to it. She doesn't work hard. Now they work hard. Here no, as subject changed, there is no S here in the sentence. They work hard. They for V1 form of the verb do and not is attached to it, they don't work hard. Now in the next sentence we have taken V2 form, they worked hard. Now it is V2 form, so we have to use did for it. This one is V1 form and this one is V1 plus SES. So we have to use did. So they as it is, did not, because we are making negative. And as per the rule, verb must come in first form. There should not be anything attached with main verb. They didn't work hard. So this is the first type by changing the meaning. Now the most important is the second type, that is without changing the meaning. In your board exam, whenever negatives are asked, generally they ask this type because it has got so many rules. So be careful and listen very minutely to all these rules now. Actually, these examples are based on different topics. We are going to study about each and every topic in detail afterwards. But before that, I'll tell you how to do it. I have noted down some of the rules. You have to find the head word. Now here see, and you have to attach not after it. Now here see, he is hardworking. So hardworking is the head word here. Hardworking, opposite of it is lazy or inactive. So he is hardworking. Now negative by without changing meaning. He is not, opposite of hardworking is lazy. In the second sentence, I like him. Here head word is verb. In the first sentence, head word is adjective, so we used opposite of the adjective. Suppose instead of hardworking, we take clever. He is clever. Now opposite of clever is dull. So instead of he is clever, it will be sentence will be he is not dull. In this way, meanings are maintained. I like him. Here head word is verb, like, and opposite of like is dislike. So I, again helping verb is not there, so this rule do, does, did, verb is in first form, so don't. I don't, opposite of like is dislike. He forgets everything. Now here again head word is verb, forgets. Only thing is that s is attached, so he we take does, he doesn't. Forget, opposite word is remember, he doesn't remember anything. Sometimes we use no sooner in place of as soon as. No, you know that two consecutive sentences are joined using as soon as. See here, as soon as he came, here I went out. So in the first sentence of as soon as, we have to use no sooner, then did, because helping verb is not there, subject he, main verb in first form, and before joining the second part we have to take then, I went out. We have already studied in detail about this in our 9th class. Second type is using never in place of hardly, scarcely, barely. You have already studied in your 9th class hardly, scarcely, and barely. See here, I can hardly read it. Means in short, I cannot read it at all. So you can use never or not in place of hardly, because hardly shows negative meaning. Only thing is that it is positive in form. So I can never read it. He barely does any work. He remove barely in by means of never. He never does any work. Using unless in place of if. You have already studied if clauses in your 9th class. If clause generally shows positive statement. If you work hard, you will pass. Now here both the sentences are positive. So if you take unless you work hard. Now unless means if plus not, means already negation is added here, so the next statement should be again negative, because if here it is negative, it cannot be positive here. So unless you work hard, you will not pass. So this way you can do it using positive degree in place of comparative or superlative. This one we are going to study in detail in the next lessons coming out. So this is positive degree, comparative degree. Ram is taller than Sham. When er plus than is taken, that is comparative degree. So you have to start with positive degree. Sham is, now here what is the situation given? Ram is more tall compared to Sham. So Sham, when we start with Sham, we have to make it negative. Sham is not so tall as Ram. This transformation, when we start degree chapter, we'll study it in detail. Again here superlative degree is given. Sham is the tallest boy in the class. We have to again, it is superlative degree, so we have to start with no other in positive. No other boy in the class is as tall as Sham. So these are the different ways that we'll study about it in detail when we take degree chapter. Just remember that when superlative or comparative degree is given, and if they ask you make it negative without changing meaning, then in other words you have to convert it into positive degree. Just remember this much. Using so that in place of to. In your 6th and 7th classes you have studied a lot about TOO2. Now TOO2 is in positive form, that is, it always shows positive meaning, but it always shows positive form, sorry, but it is always negative in meaning. See, when we look at it, TOO2, it is always used before adjectives, but it conveys negative meaning. Form is positive, but meaning is negative. For example, he is too busy to speak. Too busy to speak. What is the meaning coming out? He is so busy that he cannot speak. So in place of TOO2, so adjective as it is, he is so busy, and connector that is taken. That again subject he and can't, because meaning is negative, so we have to take can't speak. If the tense is past here, he was too busy to speak. He was so busy that in place of cannot you have to use could not. Simple, very simple. So based on the tense you have to take can or could in this type. We'll again study in detail about remove to, so that in the next lectures. Now sometimes unable to phrase is used and negative meaning is conveyed. For example, he is unable to come out. So in place of unable you can use can or could plus not. He is unable to come out, so he as it is, and in place of is unable to we should use cannot, because the tense is present tense. So in present tense can, he cannot come out. So helping verb and unable to is removed and can not is used. If the tense is past tense, he was unable to work. Now here tense is past tense, so we cannot use can here, we should use could not. So he could not work. So again unable to is removed. So in place of helping verb plus unable to you can use cannot or could not. Next type, you have already studied this when you studied compound sentences using not only but also in place of and as well as. See, two things related with same subject are joined using not only but also and as well as. So here also you can see the situation outside is both serious and dangerous. So two things are joined using and as well as, sometimes both and. So in that case you have to use not only but also. Now see, the situation outside is what two different things are joined? Two adjectives are joined here, serious and dangerous. So before them only you have to use not only. The situation outside is not only serious but also dangerous. So two different things are joined using not only but also. He is rich and powerful. Here again two adjectives are joined using and. So he is not only rich but also powerful. Remember that using not only but also we join two different things related with subject. Understood? Next type is using none, nothing in place of only. Sometimes only is an adverb and it is used before a person or sometimes before a thing. And whenever it is used for a person, you should use in negative none, and if it is only is used for a thing, we should use nothing. Look at the first sentence, only he can save us. Now here only is used before a person, only he. So for person none, none but, remember that after none or nothing we have to take but. You studied this rule in your 8th class. None but, and remaining part of the sentence as it is, none but he can save us. Only self isolation will save us. Now here only is used before self isolation. Now self isolation is not a person, it is a thing that we are talking about, the current situation. Now situation outside is very bad, so here we cannot use none, we have to use nothing, because only here stands for a thing or idea. So nothing but self isolation will save us. And last part is using no in place of without. Now positive sentence is given with without, so he is without any work, and in place of without we have to use no there. Now he is without any work means he doesn't have any work, so you can say he has no work. In place of helping verb we have to take to have form has, have, based on the subject. He has no work. My pen is without ink. This is again a positive sentence because no, not, never is not added. So we have to attach no. My pen has no ink, or even you can say my pen doesn't have ink, or he doesn't have any work. Only thing we have to remember here is that making negative means we have to add no, not, never. But we have to make sure that the meaning of the sentence should not be changed, because instruction will be given to you clearly, make it negative without changing the meaning. I hope you might have understood all these rules. I'll send the photocopy of this classwork. Read it carefully again and again, and I'll give you homework based on this also. Thank you so much.